Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Patreon-sponsored review time again. And I was kind of expecting more Sonic comics when I first opened the door to Patreon-sponsored reviews. Maybe it's just because I adamantly pointed out so many years ago that I am so disconnected from Sonic stuff outside of a few Genesis games that people decided, no real point in asking them to do more. But over a decade ago, Sonic comics were the thing that people wanted me to cover. And then they just didn't happen until now. Made worse that we're not even technically talking about Sonic, but rather two peripheral characters who apparently got popular enough to have their own spin-off miniseries, Tangle and Whisper. You ever notice that, half the characters in this universe don't have regular names, that some parents decided, we're naming our child after a part of a hand, or we're naming them after the color of their fur. Not judging or anything, just weird that alongside names like Amy or Sally, we also have Pinky Toe the Ocelot, Clavicle the Red-Tailed Hawk, or Yellowish Green the Penguin. Anyway, brief introduction to our stars of this miniseries. Tangle the Lemur is an action-oriented character created by the IDW staff, so there would be a kick-butt female character who could accompany Sonic on his adventures. A description that apparently did not fit any other existing female Sonic character. Go figure. Inspiration for her design came from some of the original concept sketches for Sonic himself, wherein he was a rabbit who could use his ears to pick up objects and throw them. I'm sure I don't have to connect the dots for you to show how Bunny with bow tie goes to Lemur with stretchy tail. I kid, of course. The creative process is weird like that. Although on the subject of weird inspiration, we've got our other character, Whisper the Wolf, who was apparently inspired by Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid, Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell, and Kopaka from Bionicle. That was actually a Bionicle I had. Don't get your hopes up for a Bionicle review. When my brother and I bought Bionicles, we mostly did it in the hopes of using the parts to make mech suits for regular Legos. Attempting to read into Bionicle lore for me has had the same effect as if I spaced out during a college lecture for 2 hours. I'm happy for those who love it, but it is in one ear and out the other for me. Anywho, Whisper is known for being a quieter, more reserved character with a cool mask, used for sniping and other tech stuff, and the tendency to have her eyes closed or squinting a lot of the time. The two are friends, and, like I said, apparently they were pretty popular, hence what we're talking about today. So let's dig into the Tangle and Whisper miniseries and see why it is people like them.
Atop the fourth wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. What's with these awkward subjects? What's all this art so rubbish? To anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man who punch sporadically or grouch. Linkara, he has his own spaceship, but he's always on his couch. Linkara, a universe in flux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Reading from a trade and no looking at the covers. I should note, though, that the patron had originally requested I also review a short story from a Sonic annual that's included in the trade, but additional content like that can be difficult to add into a review when it's supposed to be following a single narrative, and in turn makes the whole video longer, so I turned them down there. Though I did accept to read it at least. It's cute and fun, but let's get to the actual miniseries. We open in Spiral Hill Village, where Tangle is leaping into the air over a bunch of villagers. Come on, everyone! It's a gorgeous day! Race you around the village! Anyone? Everyone? Tangle would soon join the cast of The Fast and the Furious. Tangle's friend Jewel reminds her that perhaps leaping around everywhere like this is bad and she's gonna hit someone. She laughs off the idea, believing she knows exactly what she's doing and where she's going, and immediately collides with a hot dog stand. Hey, Iran, a couple of chili dogs to go? Gotta go fast! Right into someone's livelihood. Later, the two hang out at Jewel's Mineral Museum and chill. Jewel asks what's up with her lately, that clearly she's restless. Tangle admits that after all the exciting adventures she went on alongside Sonic, things seem pretty dull and she wants some action. Jewel suggests she go out and find adventures like Sonic does, but Tangle says she doesn't want to leave the village unprotected, especially since there had been a recent attack by Eggman. Speaking of, there's a loud crashing sound and they go to investigate. Tangle spotting Sonic being shot at by Whisper.
Hey, isn't that...
That looks like... Yep, your one and only hero.
Holy crap, it's Gex! I'm such a huge fan!
Whisper ignores Tangle as she continues chasing after Sonic, who cozies up to a civilian to try to keep from being sniped. Hey there, Sonic T. Hedgehog. How you doing?
Oh wow, it's an honor! Can you introduce me to Kirby? I know you guys hang out and Smash!
After Whisper changes positions, Sonic runs off again, but Tangle manages to catch up to him and ask what the hell's going on. Seeing an opportunity, Sonic claims that Eggman put a mind control chip in Whisper's mask, and he can't bring himself to hurt her. And you know, this sequence of Sonic running around this area and interacting with people raises a question that I'm sure has been asked before, but why does everybody but Sonic wear clothes? Yeah, Tails, Knuckles, and a bunch of others don't either, but like, what's the hard and fast rule here? Because I don't know if there's a consistent explanation for who's supposed to be letting their junk hang out and who thinks pants are a worse enemy than Eggman. Anyway, Sonic convinces Tangle to knock Whisper out and they can try to free her from mind control later. As such, Tangle attacks Whisper and manages to get her mask off. However, Whisper reveals that Tangle's been duped. That's not Sonic. She shows her a recording of an encounter she had with him. Ha! You're a hard lady to track down. Anyway, here's a subpoena.
Was looking for you too. Trouble. You're being targeted.
Yeah?
Yeah?
So are you.
He found out one of the diamond cutters is still alive.
And Sonic's eyes turn black, he pulls out a frickin' knife, and he's got stitches or wrinkles around his mouth.
And he won't let me leave a job unfinished.
Oh my god, Sonic.exe is canon! As Sonic has now changed appearances, Tangle and Whisper retreat to the museum to talk some more. Whisper explains that she's chasing a being called Mimic, a shape-shifting mercenary who helped Eggman wipe out his own team once. He's recently taken Sonic's form and has been causing a bunch of trouble, like kicking puppies, stealing candy from babies, and drawing graffiti. Though strangely, the graffiti just says, "Vacations are the pits." Whisper's investigation turned up that Mimic was planning on killing a bunch of people, Tangle included, and went hunting for him. Jewel suggests that this is Tangle's call to action, join forces with Whisper on the hunt. They even have these alien creatures, the Wisps, that can help them with the job. Yeah, this is a thing I had to look up, apparently a long story, but they're friendly and have special powers. Whisper refuses to help, not explaining why, but Tangle's pleas and the Wisps making sad faces makes her reluctantly accept. Right afterwards, a knife gets thrown into the front door along with a note from Mimic.
We've chased each other in circles long enough. I'll be waiting for you to settle things once and for all.
I challenge you to a Sonic 3D Blast speedrun race. Diabolical bastard! Issue 1 ends with Tangle declaring that they're gonna take Mimic down. The two soon arrive outside of one of Eggman's old bunkers. Gotta give old Robotnik this, his branding is right up there with Batman's when it comes to his stuff, for the showdown, but Whisper can't scan inside of it. Tangle wants to just head in, but of course this is a trap and in a location he has control over. This is their one shot to deal with him, but at the same time, the plan is really just walk in the front door. So it's not exactly a great situation for them. And indeed, Mimic is watching the two on security monitors, knowing full well that Whisper's not alone, and that she even has the Wisps. As such, to try to manipulate things to put them on a more even playing field, Mimic changes into Jewel. You know, Mimic, these foolish games are tearing me apart. The two enter a warehouse area, Tangle getting a little too excited about all this. Tangle tries to focus and be serious, realizing that Mimic must have hurt Whisper in some way, but before she can think more on it, she hears Jewel crying out for help and runs off to try to find her. She supposedly runs into Whisper again, who says that Mimic must have kidnapped Jewel, but of course Tangle realizes too late that this is just Mimic impersonating Whisper, who in turn locks her in a safe. Tangle's got a bit of claustrophobia, so this isn't good for her. Back outside, Mimic turns into Tangle to lure Whisper into a trap. An old robot robot that swings down at her with a ball and chain. Okay, don't worry, Whisper, this is one of the easier bosses. Just dodge under the ball as it comes at you and jump into the robot to do some damage before it changes sides. Watch out for the flame jet so it doesn't hit you and take away your rings. Or you can just launch a pink energy buzzsaw at the robot to cut off its mace. That works too.
Too much pink energy is dangerous.
She blows up the robot and chases after Mimic, who mocks Whisper for failing to protect other members of their former team together, transforming into them. Whisper's having none of the psychological warfare and starts beating Mimic up with an energy hammer, until Mimic reminds her about Tangle being locked in a safe.
If you hurry, you might open the safe before she runs out of air. I doubt you'll both get out before the bombs go off, though. But I'm counting on you trying. And you certainly don't have time to just hit me twice with the big hammer on the head and then go after Tangle. Aw, crap.
No, of course, Whisper runs off to find her partner as Mimic escapes, sealing the bunker up and walking away. Whisper finds and releases Tangle, but the bombs start going off. With no other choice, Tangle shoves Whisper back into the vault, and they seal it up to protect themselves from the explosion. They survive and bust out, but Whisper insists that Tangle go home after this. Tangle thinks that Whisper sees her as a failure, but she says that's not it. She just can't lose another friend, collapsing into tears. Issue 2 ends with Tangle saying that she needs to hear the whole story of what's going on. There were 5 of us. Slinger, our marksman, me, the scout, Smithy, our crafter, Clairvoyance, our psyop, and Mimic, the infiltrator. Then, of course, we had our backup team, Keyboard, the hacker, C4, the demolitionist, and Spatula, the caterer. You never realize how important it is to have good catering on missions until you need it. The group, known as the Diamond Cutters, were an anti-Eggman mercenary group who all had similar technology to Whisper's mask, recording everything that happened on missions and networking it so they could study each other's perspectives.
What's browser history?
She's reluctant to show more, though Tangle already suspects the truth. Examining further, there was a time when the regular Sonic heroes were missing and Eggman was steamrolling across the planet without resistance. Mimic seemingly spotted an opportunity to take down his forces along the coastline, though Clairvoyance warned Whisper to hang back on this mission because of some psychic feelings she was experiencing. The base they attacked seemed to be completely unguarded, which did raise some red flags, but Mimic reassured them it must be fine, leading of course to the team being trapped inside the base as an army of metal Sonics or so descend and killed them all. Mimic was of course revealed as a traitor who decided to join up with Eggman. Whisper had stayed back and never went into the base and so discovered what happened, only able to recover the wisps of the team. I know I asked for it, but why would you hold on to that footage? Well, embarrassed as I am to say this, Smithy makes this hilarious noise when he screams, and I just haven't had a chance to rip it from the footage. Ah, that's why you took that new wisp on and a small army of little friends. To keep fighting as the guardian angel of the battlefield. Their name for me, not my idea. I wanted to be called the Diamond Death Spike, but apparently that name's hard to sell for all-age advertisements. Afterwards, Whisper joined up with the events in the regular Sonic comic. Tangle wants to know why she didn't want her along on this trip then. Not just her, but any of the regular Sonic crew. You are the first friend I've allowed myself to have since then. I can't stand the thought of losing anyone again. It's really a pain in the ass to update this thing's calendar settings to stop reminding me of dead people's birthdays. Tangle is moved by this, but declares that Whisper is her friend too, and friends look after each other no matter what. He nearly destroyed us tonight, so we've got to do what's necessary to finish the job. Friends help each other, right? Tangle gives a pep talk, still determined to do this, and helps Whisper up. Whisper falls into her arms and thanks her for this. She thinks the trail is cold now, but based on the footage of the trap sprung on the Diamond Cutters, Eggman is going to want definitive proof of their deaths, so Mimic will come back for it. And indeed, Mimic has soon returned at sunrise, trying to convince Eggman that it's pointless because the two would have been atomized in the explosion.
That's your problem, not mine. You assured me your former comrade wasn't a threat, let alone alive. Except not only is the last Diamond Cutter alive, she became a highly destructive beacon of hope during the war.
Man, where's the Blue Lantern in the DC universe who inspires hope through destruction? Mimic finds the safe and their tracks, but it seems they've decided not to even hide, leaving a message for him. We end this where we started. In that weird echidna bar where we first met that had the giant statues of tails in it for some reason. That brings us to our final issue, with Tangle and Whisper hanging out at the old abandoned Diamond Cutter's base. Eggman supplied Mimic with an army of robots to help take the two down. Hardly seems fair. For them. I mean, I have a big prehensile tail, and he has giant robot wasps. This fight was over before it began, really. Actually, Tangle's a little more worried about this, since just one of these things had previously devastated her hometown. But fortunately, Whisper's got the winning strategy for this situation. A gun, which blasts several of the robots down. Well, now I just want a modded version of the Genesis Sonic games where Sonic shoots stuff with lasers. Especially Sonic Spinball. Whisper says the robots are just a decoy for Mimic to make his way onto the island, so Tangle heads off to go deal with him herself, while Whisper handles the robots. Mimic once again impersonates Sonic to try to trick her, but she isn't fooled, instead leading Mimic right into their trap, featuring hollow recordings of the rest of his teammates praising him. Was it worth it? Betraying all your friends just to save yourself?
They weren't my friends. They weren't even my comrades. They were a means to an end. Nintendo's inventing a whole new game around my design. It's gonna be called Splatoon. I was in it to reap the rewards. When their big crusade put my life on the line, it wasn't a difficult choice.
In bird culture, this is considered a dick move.
Heroes become martyrs. Professionals stay alive. Hobbyists just take a break for a while.
Mimic turns into Jewel to keep Tangle from hitting him, but even when she musters up the courage to do it, he just tosses her around. Still, the whole tail thing comes in handy again to hit Mimic from behind before he can stab her. Where is he even keeping that knife, especially when he shapeshifts? Or is the knife part of him? After some more scuffling, Whisper returns to try to finish the job. Turns out her weapons use the wisps to alter their form, hence when Mimic appeals to the wisp when it's in hammer form, since said wisp abhorred violence, she loses that ability for a moment. Still, the base weapon is a big hard object, so she just smacks him with it until Tangle recovers enough to knock him down and restrain him. Whisper wants to shoot him in the face and end this, but Tangle convinces her not to. Badniks are one thing, but this is different. I know what he's done, and it's unforgivable. But if you do this, you'll live with it for the rest of your life. More importantly, if the base form still works as a gun, why didn't she just shoot him when the wisp vacated it instead of using it as a club? Wouldn't it be worse for him to be caught? To live with the shame of losing to you? He'll wake up every day knowing he completely, utterly failed. And indeed, she's swayed by this argument, and Tangle knows just who to call to ensure this is taken care of. Tails! Yep, seriously, I guess Tails is the local prison warden or something, since he has a special containment chamber that can cycle through different climate and atmospheric conditions to keep Mimic from escaping.
I've heard such promises before. Cages, cells, prison eggs. I've escaped them all, and I'll escape this too.
Yeah, but in the meantime, there's no toilet in there, bye! Whisper says if he does get out, they'll just bury him again. Though Tangle has a better incentive to keep him locked up. Cause Eggman doesn't know you're in here. If you got out and got spotted, he might be a bit cranky with you failing your mission and wasting all those badniks. He'd probably fire you. And by that I mean send a robot at you that spits fire. Tails says you'll get the cell transported to a prison ASAP. And so our comic ends with Whisper inviting Tangle to come along and continue the fight against Eggman. Tangle saying she'll definitely come, but first wants to check up on Jewel. This comic is pretty good. Nothing too spectacular, but pretty enjoyable and fun. I mean, it's not going to suddenly make me seek out the Sonic comics to get caught up, in either the IDW or Archie runs, but the story and characterization are solid. Tangle and Whisper's personalities complement each other, and Whisper's backstory is tragic and a bit dark, especially for a franchise that's mainly for kids, or at least an all-ages one. Whisper's seriousness and slight broodiness doesn't get annoying any more than Tangle's positivity does, and both clearly are skilled and strong in their own rights. The overall story is not exactly complex, but it doesn't have to be when it's just supposed to be a fun adventure tying up character stuff for one of our leads. Mimic's power is used well, and the artwork by Evan Stanley, whom you may recall as making me review a Sonic annual years ago, is bright, expressive, and energetic. The fight scenes are short but well executed and utilize the talents of our star characters well. It's probably a little unbelievable that Whisper could take down the army of robots sent out to the island on her own, but hey, that's a pretty small detail in the grand scheme of things. All in all, good stuff. Next time, another Patreon-sponsored episode. And definitely a weird one, as a patron has instructed me to review a novel. It's a Star Trek and X-Men crossover novel, mind you, but still a novel.
I'm sitting on my couch reviewing comics, the worst words that you will ever see. It's sad that comic books are for kids, but they're not. They're for everybody. If you doubt that I am a man, I am a man.
Sonic says,
Stab your enemies.
hello my friends, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon or purchase a t-shirt via Teespring or Shark Robot. Thanks for watching!